This is only the second one of these that I have done. Went to make this a whole thing last year. It didn't happen that way. But we are going to make it a priority to have content such as this year. And so here we are, the instant reaction to the news that Eyabi Anoma has transferred into Michigan. It was first reported by my good friend on 3, the Wolverines, Anthony Broom, confirmed by Josh Henschke, another good friend over at Maize and Blue Review. I'm not much into the breaking of the news anymore. Every now and again, I might put my ear to the ground, but I usually won't necessarily put anything. But this is something that we need to discuss because he's a defensive end / outside linebacker, however you want to look at it. Former number 3 prospect in the country, according to 24/7 Sports proprietary rankings. And he is, he's a freakish athlete, but he's had a very weird past in the sense that he ended up committing to Alabama over Michigan. Michigan was in a good spot. He was a 2018 recruit. And then he ended up committing to Alabama, kicked off for a violation of team rules, goes to Houston, doesn't ever play it down for Houston. Same deal. So he's out. He was already out like in 2019 because he had to sit and wait because they didn't have the one-time transfer rule. He's out before he gets to play it down at Houston. He's out for the 2020 season. Transfers to Tennessee Martin. According to Pro Football Focus, has 7 sacks, had a 73-ish grade overall defensively. And then the news hit a couple days ago on Monday that he was entering the transfer portal yet again. And now it sounds like he is coming to Michigan. This is a guy with a very high ceiling. Obviously, he's had some trouble, but he's a Baltimore St. Francis Academy guy. He played under Biff Poggi, who is the assistant head coach. He played alongside some guys that we all know, Blake Corum, Nikai Hill-Green. I don't know if Derek Moore was there yet, but I mean, you've got other St. Francis Academy guys, and Biff Poggi being the most important one, that certainly can oversee him. Not really sure of his eligibility, but I mean, he really only played 2 years, so you would think, especially with COVID being a free year, that he would probably have 2 more years of eligibility. But this is huge for Michigan because of this. Michigan does not have any established edge rushers. We know that Mike Morris is probably a dude. We don't know who all is going to be that guy. Someone might emerge during the season, just like David Ojabo did last year. But Michigan needs guys who can make that happen. I still have my money on Braden McGregor. Taylor Upshaw is getting a lot of high-end reviews as well. There's mixed reports out there as to how the defensive ends are looking. But this is excellent because now Michigan's bringing in a guy who you would hope is hungry for it and that will do everything it takes to actually finally have some success. He has had a very circuitous route to get to this point right now. So, he has not tweeted out anything. He is in the student directory. I checked myself. So it does seem like it is a done deal. And it gives Michigan yet another option to be able to find that extra pass rush. Michigan has built a culture. They can take a flyer on a guy, right? And you know what? It doesn't work out. The same thing that's happened before will happen again. You know what I mean? Now, he is an interesting character. I actually have interviewed Eyabi Anoma back in 2017 when I was still with 24/7 Sports. I made the trek down to Bowie State University where Michigan held a satellite camp. It was, I believe, the 3rd satellite camp of that cycle, something in there. It was the 2nd in a 2-day stretch for me. So I went down to Maryland. And he was one of a couple guys that it was imperative for me to interview. I didn't get one of them, which was Brian Breesy, who ended up being a stud for Clemson. But I searched high and low. looking for my article from 24/7. I don't think it exists. Not because it was scrubbed or anything. I think it doesn't exist because I think I didn't post the interview because it was the weirdest recruiting interview I have ever had. He spoke at length about how much wherever he was going to choose, it had to have a Burger King because he loves him some Whoppers. And you know what? Michigan's got that Burger King right over there near Briarwood Mall. He knows about it already. He's got to get his Whoppers. It was like 5 minutes of that. It was an interesting scenario. I've never had a recruiting interview like I did with Eyabi Anoma. And now it appears he's coming to Michigan. Now, again, if he can get everything squared away, straight and narrow, he's a grad transfer. He'll be able to have immediate eligibility. He's got the opportunity. So it will be interesting to see what he does with it, especially given he has things that you can't teach from a size perspective. Got the size, he's got the speed. He looks more like a wide receiver than he does an edge rusher. I'm not really sure what he's up to from a physical standpoint right now. I'd have to double check, which we will do right now here on the instant reaction. I don't know that this is readily available. At Tennessee Martin, he had, by the way, seven sacks again, according to Pro Football Focus. Trying to see here if we can determine exactly what he is as far as size. So he played their jack position at Tennessee Martin, 6'6", 270 pounds. So he made the OVC All Newcomer team. Phil Steele's FCS All OVC third team. He was the FCS National Defensive Player of the Week in November 2021 from coming out of Halloween. So interesting ad. It'll be interesting to see what he is able to do coming to Michigan. Again, he's got the size. He's a fast guy. He's coming into a culture that just came off of a big winning season. The question is, can he help this team right now? I think he can. We will see. All right, that is our first instant reaction of the season. Our hope and goal is to have a lot more right here on the YouTube page, where it's kind of its own thing, separate from Wolverines Wire. But do check out the article on Wolverines Wire. Check out everything over there. We've put up a lot of great content between Trent Knoop and I. And obviously subscribe to this channel. We're going to have a lot more coming up.